Hello quad flyers. Today we're looking at the DJI Phantom, and of course you're looking directly at the transmitter here. And what I've been, seems like I've gotten some emails recently. I've been asked about mode 1 conversion. These things typically come in mode 2, as most American flyers fly mode 2. But there are still quite a few people who fly mode 1. There are some people in, there are a lot of people actually in the U.S. that still fly mode 1, but a lot of Asian flyers, European flyers, and I got a request from down under to show a mode 1 conversion, which is throttle on the right, and I'm going to show you how simple that is to do if you've worked with anything little, little parts. It shouldn't be a big deal, but if you feel uncomfortable, maybe you can find someone in your club who has actually done these conversions before. Now, I've already done this conversion, but I'm going to show you the parts and how they move. You can see that on this left-hand side, there's a tension bar here, and that actually rubs against a little area here. Both gimbals are identical. This is a little piece that when you're in mode 2, this bar is on this side, and it rubs against these little ridges to cause tension so that your throttle can stay where it needs to stay. And so basically you're removing that and moving it over to this gimbal, and all that requires is removing these two Phillips head screws completely, pulling them out, and then bringing the assembly over. Now, it does require removing this post, which is not a big deal. It's a threaded post. You can use, if you have metric, small metric socket drivers, you can use that. You can use pliers if you're very, very careful. Obviously, this post was in this location. If you can see that little tiny hole, I don't know if the light is decent enough to show that hole, but that's where this post was. So you move that over, you bring the tensioner over, and I've got a lot of tension in this, which in reality doesn't really give it an incredible amount of tension. One thing to be careful with is when you put this black screw into this new post, it doesn't have any threads in it, so you want to be very careful with that. I found the black screw does not want to go all the way down in this post. So what I did was I was very careful, and I worked it a few times to get it as low as it would go, and that's before putting the tensioner on. And then I found that I still couldn't get it to go all the way. I actually felt like that the post might break. So what I did was I just put two small washers underneath of the head of the screw, since it wouldn't go down all the way, so that it could put complete tension, or pressure on this tensioner here. And then this is your adjustment. This screw is very long that goes into the post. That's your adjustment for the amount of tension that you have on this bar, which again is your throttle. The next thing you have to do is remove a spring and little spring holder bar that actually keeps the gimbal centered. And that piece is, I'm going to turn this actually upside down. That piece is actually, this is the spring, and this is the bar. And if you have tiny needle nose pliers, you can, again, this was on this side. So it's very easy to remove the spring. Be careful not to lose it. It just has a little hook attachment here. There's a little hook attachment down below. I don't find this difficult, but I've been doing these conversions on all radios for a long time. Again, if you feel uncomfortable about it, just find somebody in your club or somebody who's familiar with electronics that might not feel uncomfortable with small parts. but you remove the spring, and then with pliers you can actually remove this plastic bar. It's on a pin back here that just pops out, and then you can transfer that over. Now again, remember, this was on this side. This is actually, if you can see this little metal pin, this is where this was. Remember, it was in reverse. It was over here. So I brought it over, used my pliers. I hooked the spring on the bottom hook attachment first. Then I bring it up, and with needle nose pliers, I gently hook it on the top. Again, you can't be rough with this stuff. You have to be very delicate and very careful with these things. And that's all there is to the gimbals. At which point then all you have to do are change 2 plugs, because you need to change what we would call the elevator function and the throttle function, which is this plug and this plug. You can think of them as second from each end. All you have to do is carefully unplug them and then reverse them. They only go one way. As you can see, they are white, red, black all the way across. All you have to do is reverse them, and from there you'll be ready to go. You don't have to do anything else. I did a little tidy up work. I purchased some material that's kind of a silicon putty called Siguru, and I used that to do a little touch-up work on the wires. You can see I've got some here and here. It's interesting. It dries kind of like a hard silicon rubber, but when you take it out of the package, it's nice and pliable. So you can make you can insulate wires with it. You can attach wires down to the frame with it. It's an interesting material. The other thing that I've done on this so far is I've put different gimbal stick extensions on. You might have seen that originally. These are actually from a Spectrum DX10 radio. They're not actually from the radio. These are actually accessory not aftermarket. They're actually from Spectrum, but they're just a different shape and a different size that you can use. They're obviously larger than the original gimbal extensions that come with the DJI radio. I just like them because they're a different color. It gives it a kind of a custom look. They're larger surface area for you to get a hold of, so that's an interesting feature. And one other thing I may be doing in the future, I'm not sure yet. I may put a different antenna on this. This is a 3 dB gain antenna. I may put a 6 dB gain antenna on, just to squeeze a little bit more range out of it. I'm not really worried about that yet. I've not hit the end of my range yet, but that's something that I might do in the future. Basically, that's it. I think it's a very easy conversion over to mode 1. Again, if you've never done these, or if you're uncomfortable, I kind of don't recommend you doing it. You need to find somebody who has done some work with tiny parts like this, or again, somebody in your club that has done some conversions, and maybe it's somebody that's converted a mode 1 to a mode 2. It doesn't really matter. You just have to be familiar with some of the little parts that you're dealing with, and it should be successful. This is the second one I've done, and it's worked perfectly. So again, I'm not recommending it to everyone, but find someone who can do it for you if you've not done it, and you should be fine. Other than that, this has been a really fun system so far, and I will be installing a wireless system on this soon, so I can see wireless video. And it's just working out to be a really nice platform. So I hope everyone has really good luck with theirs. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Happy flying!